What's up, Fight Bananas community? Your boy, Eryk Anders, is coming on the Fight Bananas podcast. We're going to talk about Poirier Hooker, talking about fighting through the global pandemic and the middleweight division. Buckle up and get ready for the Fight Bananas podcast. What's up, guys? This is Dave on the Fight Bananas podcast. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're having a great week. Just a podcast a couple days ago, we talked to All In about Poirier Hooker, so much more. The Professor John Radford came on the episode. But we're pumped, guys. Your boy Eryk Anders is coming on the Fight Bananas podcast. We are a humongous fan of him. I want to talk to him about how it's funny. There's just guys in the sport, especially in the UFC, that are just must-see TV. And Anders is one of those guys. Anytime, I don't care if he's in the co-main event, just on the regular card, prelims, it doesn't matter. Dana White, when Anders is on, we are watching. We are big fans. I think the MMA community just loves his fighting spirit, his style, his story, everything in between. We are huge fans of your boy, Eryk Anders. So we are so excited to have him on. But real quick, before we get Eryk on the podcast, I just want to give out a really huge shout-out. Like, I was thinking about it, and, to all the fathers out there, earmuffs. You ready? That's the code word, right? I think it's fucking insane. It's crazy what the world is going through this corona pandemic. Their stores closed. Jobs are closed. Everyday experiences are different. I'm a father. The kids have been home. Sandcastle. Our schools were closed. It's amazing what we are going through. And, I talk into a microphone for a living. How about let's give out a shout out. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm trying to be the respectful guy. These men and women are fighting inside a steel cage for their lives to keep on proceeding with their career. Yeah, guys, some gyms are still not all the way right. How you're training, how you're eating, the travel's all messed up. People in your corner. It's amazing that we are still in a world with no football, no basketball, no baseball. It's no hockey. But the UFC, every goddamn Saturday night, we are seeing a show after a show. Guys, Poirier Hooker was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life. How great was the whole card? We got Maurice Green crying, getting an unbelievable submission in the third. How about Mike Perry and the whole corner situation? There's just storylines galore. How about Anders' card in Jacksonville, Walt Harris's return? There has been so many great fights. Emmett Burgos. These have been absolutely stacked. We're going to Fight Island in a couple weeks. The UFC has put their goddamn flag on the map. It's just amazing that all these critics and all this negativity of, the cage size and this and money. God, almighty. Just enjoy it. These guys, Eryk is putting his life on the line, grinding. There's been so many great fights. Middleweight division, our main man, Brandon All In Allen. I want to talk to Anders about that. They fought in the LFA a minute back. Allen left his kid to train for a couple weeks through this pandemic, get a W, come back home, and then shoot. He's got, structural damage in his orbital bone, and he might be out for the rest of the year. Give these men some credit. God dang. All right, I'm off the soapbox. Let's get it. I'm super excited. First time coming on the Fight Bananas podcast. It's your boy, Eryk Anders. All right, guys, we promised him on the Fight Bananas line. My main man, your boy, Eryk Anders. How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my man. Absolutely. Before we get into you, so much I want to talk about you, the middleweight division, UFC, and all. But how about those damn fights this past weekend, especially that Poirier versus Hooker? Did you watch it live?
Oh, absolutely. I think that was a sleeper fight. I don't think that too many people thought that they were going to get the treat that they got. with it's probably, it's definitely in there for the fight of the year contention. So, it was an awesome fight. Glad I got to witness it, and thank you to those guys for putting on such a show.
Absolutely, man. And with you being, a fighter, I know you guys make friends and there's teammates and all that galore. Like, when you see a battle, when you see two gladiators go in there and probably will maybe never be the same. Dustin is he all the time on Instagram showing his daughter about Parker and how he's a father and all that. Do you think of that at all, or are you just in the moment as well? And you're like, hey, I do it too, and it's to the best man wins, or do you like, wow, I hope these guys don't give everything out there,
Yeah, I think that Dan Hooker's a dad too. So, I think for me, it's, may the best man win, They both put a lot of hard work, effort, sacrifices, and, stuff. And, man, to be honest with you, man, it hurts a little bit less whenever you get a win. So,
right.
It hurts a little bit more whenever you get in there in a close fight and take a loss like that. Absolutely.
The money's a little bit better, then the next fight's a little bit better, the media's a little bit better, the sponsor's a little bit better, so I hear you on that. Another thing I actually thought of you, we were getting this together over the weekend and I saw the fights. I think that you would be absolutely amazing in that small cage and the small octagon. Have you thought about that at all? Because when you fought in Jax, that was a big boy cage over there at the Memorial Arena. Have you thought about and have you been wanting to get a fight inside that smaller cage at the Apex?
Yeah, I like the smaller cage. For me personally, it entices the fight.
Right.
All the guys who beat me for the most part are guys who, throw like one or two little pitter-pat shots and run away. So I think for somebody with my fighting style and the way I fight and the way I like to fight, that the little cage would benefit me a pretty good bit.
Absolutely, I do too. And then we're about to get into your last question on this weekend. Maybe the biggest talking point out of the weekend was Mike Perry, the corner, the girlfriend, all of that. Tell me, I would love your take on just the Platinum show and not having coaches out there. What's your take on it?
Well, man, clearly Mike's got trust issues, and I'm not sure what his deal is with his, previous coaches. I think, something may have happened there that, is making all this happen. He just recently broke up with his old lady. So I think all that kind of plays a role in, what he's got going on. And, I kind of feel him a little bit, because at the end of the day, someone can tell you to throw a jab cross, but at the same time, like, if that ain't what you feel as a fighter who's actually in there, it's a little bit different being the person on the outside telling somebody what to do versus being the one who's actually in there. So, I don't know what kind of coaches he had before or what kind of corner work he had, but, he went out there and got the job done. So, that's the thing about it. If he goes out there and loses, he looks like a clown. But
right.
Because he went out there and won and, won pretty decisively, man. I think he's got an underrated ground game and an understanding of the, grappling. But he went out there and got a win. So, it is what it is.
Right. No, and I'm with you, man. We're located here in Florida, and Mike was over here at Fusion XL in Orlando. You're right, they split. It is what it is. And then I get you so much on that. Me as a father, there's a certain way you can talk to your kids inside your home and not outside, and there's certain ways that, I got two boys. So one, I'm a little bit harder on, a little bit less. I can only imagine inside that cage if your coach is saying to you, hey, you can take the jab, but you might want to wrestle more, whatever, but you're in there. There's nothing like your feeling, your instincts. Sometimes, Mike was saying that the coaches were saying giving him wrong information or, hey, I'm in here. Mike's got like 7 or 8 UFC wins. He's been around the block a little bit, and he was saying that his coaches did not get those wins. So, there's something to it, but, we just saw Gaethje over there in Jacksonville as well the couple of days before your show, how he listened to his coach, and that gave him the interim championship. So there's pros and cons to both, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trevor Whitman, he's obviously one of the better minds in the game and probably understands the game a lot more than others. And I think, I don't think a coach necessarily needs to like tell you, throw a jab, throw a cross. I think Saeed out of Fortis is a pretty good coach, and I'm not really sure he gives a whole lot of direction rather than he motivates his fighters to want to win, puts them through hell to get ready for a fight, and then, kind of reminds them of all the shit that they went through to get ready for a fight and makes them fight that much harder.
Absolutely, my man. All right, so let's get into it was in Jacksonville. We'll get there in a second about what the UFC did, why I'm just a big proponent right now what the UFC is doing about literally bringing back cards every single goddamn weekend. But, you fought. It's been a couple months now. For one, Walt was the main event of your show, so I know that had to be, and I know your relationship with him had to just be emotional to say the least. But how did you feel on your performance? It's been a couple months now. How are you feeling mentally and physically? And like I said, when do you want to get back in that octagon?
Matt, I feel good mentally and physically. Obviously it wasn't my best performance, not even my style of fighting, but it is what it is, I don't know when I'll be back. Maybe towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, maybe. We'll see. Not really sure, but as soon as I'm ready, the UFC has a habit of, as soon as I'm ready to go, they give me the call. So as soon as I can, I will be back in there.
That's awesome. I think one of those reasons why is you're, at the end of the day, I know it's sport and I know it's a fight and all of that, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. People, when there's fans in the stands, they every 18 inches they're paying money for a seat. People are watching on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and you're one of those fighters, Eryk. I'm not saying this just because you're on. I've been saying this for almost 2-3 years now. You're one of those. You're must see. You're must see TV. You're must see fight. It doesn't matter if you're the co-main event or on the regular card or on the prelims. Anytime that your boy's fighting, it's a must-see, event. Is that something you pride yourself in? Is that something that it's like, hell yeah, I'm into it? Or at the end of the day, you just kind of just want to get wins and you don't really maybe care about that side of it? Or it is important to you to be, almost an entertainer at the end of the day?
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, the more people who want to watch you fight, the more you get paid at the end of the day. That's what we're here for. So, it just so happens that, people like to watch what I like to do. I like to put hands on people, and knock people out. And, fortunately for me, that's what people like and what they want to see. So, it just kind of plays into my wheelhouse, if you will, my skill set. I'm more than glad to keep on doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. Like I said, you're just like, you're must-see TV. Also, another guy that you fought, remember, it's got to be 4 or 5 years now, LFA, you fought Brandon Allen. He just won this past weekend. That's 3 in a row for him, so he's on a little bit of a run. But I remember that fight. LFA 14, I think off the top of my head, you guys just went at it. Did you know back then that Allen was going to be one of those, he was going to make it to the show and Allen was going to have a good career in front of him? Did you feel that night?
I think when we fought, he may have been like 21, 22 years old, so he was super young whenever we fought. I just figured that, as long as he kept at it, eventually he would get a shot. And, he has, and he's done, an awesome job, 3-0, 3 wins in the UFC. That's big. So, he's doing his thing right now.
Absolutely, my man. You as well. Like you said, you want maybe at the end of this year, early next year. Is there a guy that you would like to, to get in there? Is there someone you do want to maybe call out, or a couple guys, or you just, hey, whatever UFC gives you, you're signing, you're moving forward?
Yeah, whoever they give me, I sign and keep it moving, I think they do a pretty good job of giving me matchups that people want to see.
Right.
It doesn't matter who I fight, when I fight. I just got to be, healthy and ready to get in there and go, 15, 25 minutes.
Absolutely. Two more things for you. I don't want to keep your time. Big fan here. Fight Banaz, Eryk, your boy Anders. For one is the middleweight division. Over the last 3, 5, 8 years, Eryk, a huge evolution. It used to be slower, maybe a little bit more wrestling-based division. Now you just got strikers everywhere. You got still great wrestlers in there with Jack Hermanson, and you got Gas and all that, but it just seems like the evolution in the middleweight division is just maybe more than any division has really upticked in the last couple of years. I would love your take right now on your synopsis on a lot of the middleweights up there on the top.
Now, a lot of those guys are super well-rounded, man. A lot of those guys have knockouts and submission wins, so I don't think, especially at the top, there are guys that are just good at one thing. Like, we don't see a whole lot of Paulo Costa on the ground, but it's because he's got good takedown defense and, throws a lot of volume. Chris Weidman, national, his wrestling credentials, everybody knows about them. And, the top to bottom, it's a pretty diverse and well-rounded division.
Oh, for sure. It's one of my favorite divisions in the all weight classes. Up top, but even it's just so deep. There's just so many studs in there. Even like we were just saying, guys that you felt like Gerald Mershar, Brandon Allen Allen, yourself, there's just so deep. And then you get into that top 10, it's like killer. Jared Kinnear doesn't get a lot of love. And I think he's an absolute monster there. We're going through this global pandemic, Corona, COVID-19. The UFC is back every weekend, like we said earlier, at the Apex. We're going to Fight Island. You guys made a big stamp there in Jacksonville around a month ago, 6 weeks ago. But I know you're a big football guy. How do you feel on the football season? Are you afraid of what might happen, or you just, not worried about it, or you think everything will be okay when football comes around in the fall?
Yeah, I think there'll be a season. What they do with or without the fans, I don't know. But there's a lot of money that is going to be lost with no season. So I think that they're going to exercise every possible effort to have a season.
Yeah, it's what I hear is that so if the NFL doesn't play, it's $4 billion they lose. And then, of course, if the college boys don't play, if college football doesn't play, lacrosse goes away, swimming goes away, softball goes away, men's college football pays for everything. You know what I mean? So it's just unbelievable. So going into the football, last question for you, what do you think happening? We know you're a strong Bama guy. What do you think for them going into this season coming up?
I like it, man. They got the number one dual threat quarterback in the nation. This past year, we know how much Bama loves those dual threat quarterbacks. They always, keep one in the chamber, man. So whenever somebody leaves and it's time to reload, they always got one in the chamber. So, I think Nick Saban is a pioneer and the best at figuring things out and working that gray area. So, if they say that they can, whatever gray area there is, he's going to exploit it and take advantage of it to give himself an advantage.
Oh, 100%. Your boy, Eryk Anders, man, we appreciate your time. Like I said, we're huge fans. We cannot wait to see you back in the octagon. You're must-see TV every single time. I'll tell Dana White, you're $60 every time we see you on the pay-per-view card. So hopefully you get a little bit more on the check, all right?
Tell him. Yeah, let him know.
We got you, my man. We'll talk to you real soon. We appreciate your time, all right?
I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys? This podcast has been supported by Warhammer Fightwear. Check them out at warhammerfightwear.com. They got some of the best gear in all of MMA, but guys, they got stuff for the ladies, kids, and of course, us men. I wear that dry fit tee on the daily. Check out your boys at warhammerfightwear.com. Also, our family at N Still Nutrition. Check them out at nstillnutrition.com or on the Instagram page, N Still Nutrition. Guys, we're going through hard times. Make sure you take your supplements. Be strong on the daily. Guys, check out nstillnutrition.com. All right, guys. That was your boy Eryk Anders coming on the Fight Bananas podcast. Man, what a great talk. He is one of those guys. There's like 12 or 14 guys or girls, right, that anytime they're on the card, it's a must. He's must-see TV. You cannot not watch it live. You never know what's going to happen. I'm ready for him to put 2, 3, 4 in a row. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for him to put 2, 3, 4 in a row. Let's break through that top 10. I think 2021 will be an absolute banner year for your boy. All right, guys, we're rolling. Another crazy, great week here. No fights this weekend, but next weekend, UFC 251. Fight Island is real. We are so excited. Triple main event. 3 titles on the line. Burns, Usman, Holloway, Volkanovski, and the last one, Jan versus Aldo. And this past weekend on Fight Bananas Instagram page, I saw that they put, what underdog can you see them, taking the crown, taking the championship? They're all around plus 200. All 3 guys. It's Holloway, Aldo, and Burns. So out of those 3, which one do you see upsetting the champ or becoming champ? I would love your take on it. Guys, slide into the DMs. We had a lot of answers on the IG page. We'll see you out there. We're going to break down. We're going to get the professor on and have a full breakdown of UFC 251 later on. Make sure you see on our YouTube page Dustin Poirier's top 5 performances of all time. So if you haven't subscribed right now, hit the pause button. If you're listening to it, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe right now. Dustin Poirier's top 5 performances of all time. Check that out right now. Eryk, we appreciate your time. Your boy, we are out on the Fight Bananas podcast.